Iceland is without a doubt one of the world's most amazing countries. The tiny island is truly one of a kind due to its stunning natural environment, culture, and history. It's possible that someone who has already been to Iceland will say that it has everything. Most of this is true. There is no other nation with such a wide range of tourist attractions. Powerful waterfalls, one of Europe's largest glaciers, and erupting volcanoes are all here. Additionally, this is one of the few nations where you can see the northern lights. However, as previously stated, Iceland possesses almost everything. There is something there that you won't find. There are approximately 3.5 thousand different species of mosquitoes worldwide. The aquatic environment is where the larvae grow. Adults fly in large swarms or wet meadows near lakes and ponds in the evening. Despite the fact that they now appear even in cities, this is where the majority of them are accumulated. A mosquito bite typically does not pose a threat to our health. The skin becomes slightly swollen and itchy as a result. However, mosquitoes can pose a fatal threat in tropical nations. They spread a variety of diseases through your blood, including Zika virus, yellow fever, and malaria. Then, why do we require the mosquitoes? Indeed, the mosquitoes are necessary and contribute significantly to our ecosystem. There are two primary reasons why their disappearance could result in a real catastrophe. The most significant is that the mosquitoes are nourishment for different species like swifts, swallows, bats, frogs, and amphibians. Fish consume their larvae for food. Without mosquitoes, those species would also begin to disappear. The absence of mosquitoes is one of Iceland's many positive attributes. That is something for which we can be extremely thankful, as those tiny flies are by far the most lethal creatures on Earth. They spread diseases that kill approximately 830,000 people annually in Africa, South America, Central America, Mexico, and a large portion of Asia. In other developed and temperate nations, mosquito bites have largely reduced in recent decades to an annoyance, despite still resulting in some deaths annually. The Zika virus's widespread outbreak last year has brought back concerns about mosquitoes in previously mosquito-free regions. The kind of mosquitoes that can spread the virus exist, for instance, in a lot of places in the United States. At least in Iceland, we don't have to worry about that. The intriguing inquiry is as to why Iceland does not have mosquitoes while its neighbors do. There are two types in Greenland, according to the Icelandic Web of Science IWOS, 28 types in Norway and Britain, and 41 species in Iceland's neighboring countries to the east. The mosquito pupa spends the winter hibernating beneath ice in Greenland and northern Scandinavia, where it emerges as a fly as soon as the ice melts. Due to the continuous nature of polar winters, this occurs in spring. The winters in Iceland vary. With a thaw, the temperature can suddenly rise in the middle of winter, and then it can drop again. In these circumstances, the pupa would emerge. After finding prey from which to draw blood, the mosquito would need several days to mature its eggs, find a mate, and lay the eggs in a pond or marsh. The mosquito does not have enough time to complete its life cycle due to Iceland's rapid climate change. When temperatures again dropped and ice formed on the ponds, the pupa would not have reached maturity under these conditions. It is said that Iceland is the only country without ticks or mosquitoes. There are two possible explanations for Iceland's lack of mosquitoes. The most likely explanation is that the weather isn't good for mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are able to withstand Arctic winter's low temperatures, but they are unable to adapt to Icelandic weather. Every lake in Iceland is inaccessible to mosquitoes during the 3 main freezes that occur annually. The cold returns before they are mature enough to reproduce, freezing the waters they need to emerge from. Mosquitoes require particular conditions to reproduce. They can reproduce in hot, humid conditions, but they can also survive in cold conditions. These insects, on the other hand, are unable to survive due to the unstable climate of Iceland. Another possibility is that the soil and water in Iceland have a chemical composition that makes mosquitoes unfriendly. However, climate change is ongoing because of global warming. It's possible that this will also affect the number of mosquitoes in Iceland. The typical air temperature is developing, and new types of bugs have showed up in Iceland. Those have not previously thrived there. The mosquitoes may soon be able to reproduce in Iceland under that scenario. In any case, assuming you are voyaging, you will require something more reasonable, which can be taken with you any place you go. The most ideal way to battle mosquitoes is to utilize items that contain DEET. It is an insecticide that works best to prevent tick bites and other insects like mosquito bites. There are hundreds of products that contain DEET, each with a different concentration and application. The product is both more potent and more efficient the higher the percentage of DEET in it. In Iceland, you might not be able to find mosquito repellents in supermarkets or pharmacies. You do not require protection against those because they are not a problem in Iceland. The midges are something you can anticipate. If you're planning a trip to Lake Mývatn or a horseback riding excursion, you might need the right spray. These items are in high demand, particularly during the summer, and occasionally sell out quickly. The mosquito DEET with 30% DEET is the most widely used. Try applying mild iceland, a topical corticosteroid, if you have already experienced the bites and are experiencing itching on your skin. Additionally, the allergy medication will alleviate the irritation.